Senator, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Senator, as I just mentioned, you are joining in on the criticism aimed at Wyoming Representative Liz Cheney, who you also believe is stepping out of line in her criticism of the president. And this isn't the first time you've disagreed with her. We know that in the past, Cheney has also praised Dr. Anthony Fauci, while you have challenged Fauci about his comments about during the pandemic. So, Senator, explain to our viewers your criticism of Cheney.
I think it's safe to say that myself and our family have a lot of differences with the Cheneys. The Cheneys have been big advocates of war, the Iraq War first, the Afghan War as well, but also the perpetuation of these wars. And I'm a big fan of President Trump's viewpoint on this. President Trump said in the State of the Union the last time around, he said that great nations don't fight perpetual wars. And I think we've long been past our military mission in Afghanistan. I've got 3 nephews who've served in the military. I talk to soldiers all the time. And to a person, they think we've been there long enough and that there's not really a military mission there. Liz Cheney, though, continues to cheer on for staying in Afghanistan permanently. What we're doing in Afghanistan now is really just flushing money down a toilet. We spend $50 billion a year there. Both the president and I are upset that that money is being spent building roads and schools in Afghanistan and not building roads and schools in our country. So we need to get rid of the nation building. And I just don't like Liz Cheney out there beating the president up on trying to bring some of the troops home from Germany, but also trying to end the war in Afghanistan. And so I think the president's right. I think she's wrong. And if she wants to be supportive of the president, she needs to keep those thoughts to herself.
Yes, Senator, and other GOP lawmakers as well, such as Matt Gaetz, also saying House Republicans deserve better as the conference chair. But switching gears now to the topic of mask mandates, there's a model which was published by the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation saying if 95% of people in the U.S. wore masks while in public spaces, the model predicts approximately 40,000 lives would be saved. And we know that President Trump has recently expressed support for the latest face mask mandates imposed by several states, saying that wearing one may be a very patriotic thing to do. What is your take on this?
Well, you know, if we banned driving cars, I think we could save several 100,000 lives. So if we banned eating at fast food restaurants, I think we can save another couple 100,000 lives. So really it gets down to whether you want to live in a free society or you want to live in an authoritarian society. Look, I'm not saying don't wear a mask. I'm just saying the government's got no business telling you you have to wear a mask. If you're 80-something years old, I would avoid big crowds and I'd wear a mask when you have to be indoors with a crowd. If you're 18 years old, the mortality is 1 in a million. You make your own choice. And so I think we need to allow some freedom to occur in this and not have a blanket one-size-fits-all. Look, we have hundreds of thousands of people currently in the United States who are immunosuppressed. They're taking cancer treatment. But we don't say to everybody, well, you could make them sick, so you need to wear a mask. If you're around your loved one, you may well want to wear a mask. And if you're around somebody who has that, those people also wear masks. But we don't make the whole country wear masks because 100,000 people are sick with cancer. So I think that we have to remember that we live in a free country and not just completely throw the baby out with the bathwater and just say, oh, well, we have this virus and we have to do everything, so we're just going to give away our freedom. You know, churches, should we ban people going to churches because we might save lives? No, I think the First Amendment's important. Doesn't mean you should go to church. If you're older and there's a lot of virus in your community, maybe you shouldn't go. But the government has no business telling you you can't go. So there's a difference between taking good advice and actually allowing the government to mandate your behavior.
All right, so your take, Senators, government has no business telling you to wear masks and that we live in a free country. But Senator, finally, before I let you go, I just want to ask you very quickly, President Trump, he's about to make an announcement this hour as part of Operation Legend. What is your take on the federal crackdown of rioters in cities that continue to see ongoing violence?
You know, I think our cities are a disaster, and it's important to remember that our cities have been run by Democrats since the early 1970s. Louisville in my state hasn't had a Republican mayor since 1972. Minneapolis, where we had the problem, riots, fires, the terrible police brutality, all of those things, they're happening under Democrat watches. But if we ask how are we going to fix it, the people who live in those cities need to elect better people. I'm not really for sending federal police or the Army into our cities because it's very difficult to be a policeman or a policewoman. They have a tough job, and I really admire what they try to do. But policemen have to recognize the right to protest, the First Amendment, and they have to stop mayhem from happening. But I don't think our Army is necessarily prepared to do that. It's a difficult job that a policeman has. And I just don't want to see, look, I'm a big fan of the president's, but I don't want to see federal officers in our cities. Chicago is an utter disaster. 14 people shot at a funeral this weekend. But really, that's because Chicago's got terrible people running the city. People who live there need to get rid of those people. But we can't simply say because Chicago is so terrible at running their city that we're going to send federal troops in there. There's a danger that what happens is that people get hauled off the street, who some of them may well just be protesting. And I don't want to see unmarked people in camouflage carrying semi-automatic weapons yanking people off the streets. It just doesn't look good, and it doesn't look like, what America is supposed to stand for.
So you're saying, Senator, it is a question of leadership in those cities. And as I mentioned, President Trump, he is expected to make an announcement of an expansion of Operation Legend coming up in just a few moments. Senator Rand Paul, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.